Hello again, everybody. I'm Gary,
I'm Jack.
and we are here at Great Hope Golf Course, which right now is looking pretty good.
Spring is springing.
Yeah,
Finally.
they're doing work on it.
Been a long winter.
Yeah.
But
So,
it's starting to green up.
yeah, that's nice. It is. I drove up and I was like, wow, that really looks good.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be a good year.
it's only going to get better.
Absolutely.
So why don't you talk to him about the skipjack pass?
Skipjack Pass is still our focus and the greatest way to play golf anywhere in the region. $99 to join, and it's $44 now, but that's still the best bargain you can possibly imagine. And that's unrestricted 7 days a week until 2 o'clock. So and then it's the same price after 2. But hey, you want to play Saturday morning, you can't find $44 anywhere around this place. So
That's great. Come on out.
we got plenty to sell.
We'd like to offer you the chance to come out and see our course
That's right.
and play. And if you
You
need,
won't be mad that you did.
and if you're out there and you're like me, who really can't hit a golf ball straight or far, you can always get lessons.
That's right.
You and
I can
Mark
help
both
you. Yep.
provide lessons.
PGA professional lessons.
Yep, there you go. And
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to what we're
Yeah,
going to do later on.
I got a
where-
monster project coming up.
where I might be able to get a little free lesson out of it, but we want to kind of eventually work on some of the things that you do here at the course, which I think would be very interesting
Oh yeah,
for people to figure out.
plenty to do here at the
Yeah.
course.
Oh yeah. All right. So we might touch on golf a little bit later, but as you know, it's March Madness,
March is here.
and we are taping this on the Thursday of the first day.
First day.
And
One game's been completed already.
who got it wrong?
Me.
So did I. So I'm not off
not
to
a
a
good
good start. Not at all. But this year is like, I don't watch as much basketball as I used to.
Yeah.
Like I used to be in it, and but this year seems like it's pretty, until you get to the final 8. It seems like it's going to go fairly the way
could go
they're
a lot
seeded.
of different ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. There's a couple teams in there that could sneak up. And I like McNeese.
Yeah.
And that's an upset I'm looking at. Who else? Who else do I have down there? I like VCU going. I got them going pretty far, but they're playing BYU. Everyone's high on BYU, but I like VCU.
Yeah, BYU. Well, I got BYU getting past Wisconsin.
So do you?
Which was a hard pick
Yeah.
for me, being from Wisconsin.
Right.
But
Oh, that's right.
I think,
Yeah.
I think
They got to get past Montana first. Montana's been playing okay lately.
they're up double digits.
Yeah. Oh, they are.
Yeah, I just checked that.
So you
score.
check that. So that one's
Yeah.
going on now.
So as
Yeah.
again, this is going on right now as we're taping. So,
That's right.
but yeah, I don't.
They could go a whole different ways, but I think once you get to the end there,
I think I picked 2 upsets.
to get to the Final Four,
No, just to
just
the
2
first
in general.
round.
Oh, just 2.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I lost one of them already.
Oh, yeah,
I thought
right.
High Point would be.
Oh,
pretty-
High Point, yeah.
and that didn't turn out too well.
They
for
they
me.
stayed closer than the what was that? What the line was though? Wasn't it like 12?
I thought, yeah, 12 and a half maybe, something like that.
Yeah, so they played
I saw.
okay.
Yeah, so,
So much for these the smaller schools or the lower level conferences. It's just getting there, getting the exposure. That's the biggest thing for a lot of these type of
yeah,
schools.
and, Alabama State,
Yeah,
great finish to that game,
I was just amazed what happened with that one.
but then they got Auburn,
Yeah,
and not saying a 16 can't be a 1,
Right.
beat a 1, because it's happened a couple times,
right.
but that's,
Well, it's like Mount St. Mary's won last night, but then they got Duke.
Yeah.
So it's just the way it's set up, and that's the way it's going to be with a big field like that. The
Yeah.
best teams are going to play the lower seeded teams, and I don't know if it's easier to predict the level and the seeds, but whatever they do, it seems to be fairly accurate. Although I have to take issue with the West part of this, because there's lots of good teams in there, one of which is Maryland. So somehow it just seems a little bit weighted there with a lot of good teams.
well, I know you're rooting for the Crab Five.
The Crab Five. How about that? That's really clever. Whoever
That's a
came up with
great
that.
nickname, man.
That is great.
I tried to explain that to my daughter,
Yeah.
who the Fab Five were like. Oh, it's a takeoff on the Fab Five. She's like, who's
What is
that?
that? Yeah.
So she had no idea. But us old
Yeah.
people know.
Well, that was a good number of years ago.
Oh, yeah. Man, that was the early 90s.
Yeah, there's some great 30 for 30s on that. At least one that I know that's really good.
Yeah.
That shows how that all went. And then I think there's a follow-up one about how much money was made by the kid on the T-shirts and all that. And
Yeah.
am I getting that right or am I getting that wrong? That might have been Johnny Football. Anyway,
That was, yeah,
I'm
the
getting off
Notre
on the
Dame.
other
That was
side.
the Notre Dame.
That was the Notre Dame. That's right.
Convicts versus.
Yeah. That's right.
That's
Sorry.
what it was.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
I opened up the shop today. All right, so there's a lot going on.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have too many surprises.
Who's your you want to do like your 8 or 4?
We can do 1, 2, 3, 4. That's ESPN calling you right now for some.
Well, there's
advice.
something going on.
They're
I'll
calling
get
you
that.
for advice.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Advice on how to lose money?
Yeah,
Man, I'm on a cold streak
at
lately.
ESPN.
Whew. I'm that guy that gets one wrong every parlay.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. But that's the way it goes.
that's why they call it
Vegas,
gambling.
My Vegas has a lot more money than anybody.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't really. Like I said, I got mostly chalk throughout here.
So do you have a soft spot pick? I mean, you said Wisconsin,
I like Wisconsin, but I'm
you
I'm
being
gonna be
realistic and
yeah.
that they're not going to make it this
Yeah,
far.
now I'm in a pool. I'm in a couple pools, but they're not for money, so I don't.
Yeah,
you
right.
know,
Just
we
for bragging
play,
rights.
Yeah, we just played for one of them was my own family. So,
I forgot to get in your family's one.
oh yeah,
I meant to do it last night, and I forgot.
I did it this
completely
morning.
forgot. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I could have done it because I had all my picks.
I don't know if you can still get in it or not.
Well, maybe I just have to
You just get those
forfeit.
wrong.
Well, I would have got
Yeah.
it wrong anyway.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. It's like my Super Bowl picks. Yeah, yeah, I the only real thing is like North Carolina. I picked them to win the next game
Yeah,
because they're
they're on a bit of a hot streak.
They played well when they
Yeah,
lost to Duke,
they lost to Duke.
even though Cooper Flagg didn't play.
Right.
Nor the other guy,
Right.
which I feel bad I don't know his name,
Right.
not just the other guy, because he's been a big part of theirs.
Been
Especially
defensive
defensively.
part of it. Yeah.
But they played well in that game.
Right.
And then they
But-
played well, what was it, Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
And
Well, I heard that that the other guys that aren't hurt, the 2 of the other guys, their first 5 picks in the draft too. I mean, they're in the top 5 or 10
For Duke?
draft picks for Duke.
oh yeah,
Other than Flag, the other 2, the
yeah,
guard and
Knipple
yeah,
and
Knipple,
Malawach.
yeah,
Yeah.
that they're NBA level players, so
Yeah.
they can still win without the big guy.
But here's the thing, and this is why I think you need experience.
Well, that's definitely
And
true.
while they've played a lot of basketball, there's something about a junior or a senior
Yeah,
who kind of has been there
True.
enough times to kind of right the ship.
true.
You
True.
know, so I'm a big believer in that.
True.
And they're very talented,
Right.
but they're all young except for Proctor for Duke.
Right.
So,
And it's so hard too when you look at this tournament, the matchup element is tough. I mean, you really got to be in the know
yeah,
to see which matchups might favor a certain team that you might not think would have a chance
Yeah.
versus a better team, but maybe they just match up well. And that particular game, they do their work and they win. You know, you never know.
and
So-
that's the thing that I saw somebody say. You know, they asked the question, "What's the most important thing about winning?" Somebody said guard play. He goes, "No, it's matchups.
yeah,
It's how well are you going to match up
That's
to
right.
that team."
that's exactly
Or
right.
what
That's exactly
matchups do you have that's going to cause the other team problems?
right.
So,
And you never know too. You could get your 3-point shooter hot.
yeah,
And I've done a lot of work on going back to box scores because I was doing a lot of betting thinking that I knew something. I didn't know anything because I was teasing up the underdog a lot of times, and I'd look and see that they scored 12 points in the second half or something, and I go back and look at their average, and they average 80 points a game, and in that one particular game, they just went terrible. And I looked, and it was, they were like 2 for 29 and 3-point attempts.
Yeah.
That one outlier of a game, you just never know when it's going to hit
Yeah.
you. And that 3-pointer is so important in these victories, because most of the time the 2-pointers are within the 40 to 50% range, for most of these decent teams. But boy, those 3-pointers can really determine who's the winner.
Yeah, and if you can score,
scoring is a big piece of it.
and that's why I went with High Point for the upset, because I know they.
But the other
they
part
score a
about
lot.
this tournament with the factor of competing is the coach.
Yeah.
And you talk about experience, and then there's certain coaches like Izzo from Michigan State that somehow his players just turn into these competitive beasts when it's time to play this tournament.
Yeah.
So I don't have a soft spot for him. I saw him interviewed on McAfee show. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
A great interview. He
Yeah.
told some great stories. He had a story about when he's a football. He loves football, probably
Right.
even more than basketball. He said, and that 20 some years ago, he was in a practice and they lost a certain game, and he was mad. And so he had he got football pads for all of his players, and they lined up one on the baseline and the foul line, and they said, "Okay, put the ball in the middle." He said, "Go at it."
Go get it.
And he just they got tough, and they ended up winning the national championship that year.
Yeah. Well,
And they were called a football team approach because they were just so aggressive.
Yeah.
So that was a great story. I just love hearing those kinds. He said,
Oh,
he said a great line. He goes, if I tried that now, I'd get arrested.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Well,
times have done changed.
he and Steve Mariucci, who coached the 49ers,
Yeah.
are best of friends.
Are
They're
they?
childhood friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're Upers, I guess they call them.
Upers?
They're from the Upper Peninsula
Oh, is that what they call
of
them?
Michigan.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Upers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
That's
they're
right.
they're a whole different breed of
Sounds like-
Michiganders
Oh,
than regular
sorry.
Michigan.
Oh, well,
So
that's really saying something.
yeah. So they're a little crazy.
But anyway,
yeah.
my point is that the coaching, and you see it sometimes like with some of these Drakes and McNeeses, that these coaches have come up through the ranks of being players on the big schools and learned how to
Yeah.
play, and now they have their chance to coach, and they're getting a lot out of their players. And like Patino is on his 6th school,
I was just gonna bring him up.
St. John's. I got a
Yeah.
little kind of soft spot. I saw him interviewed too. He was even a better interview.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have such. You can see why they move people to action.
Yes.
These
So
young men are
charismatic.
just so probably engaged in how they go about it, and it's a
Yeah.
winning way, and it's really setting them up for success. It's really inspiring.
Yeah.
but-
But then again, I saw Patino at halftime just tear into his kids.
Yeah,
And he dropped a few F-bombs on them.
yeah. Well,
But
hey, listen,
he knows what buttons to push.
Something works. And it's unfortunate you hear that now because the cameras and the microphones are everywhere.
Yeah.
That should be in the locker room.
Yeah.
We shouldn't see that. for
It
public
should have been.
consumption.
I don't know who, unless somebody did it to kind of promote him.
Well, maybe.
But
Well, Bobby Knight got eviscerated for that.
Yeah.
With that approach.
Yes.
He got into big trouble, lost his job, the whole thing. Patino, he ain't held a lot of jobs for very long, probably
Right.
for similar reasons. So
And the thing that bothers me about it all is that some young college, or especially high school, since I coach high school basketball, some young high school coach or old high schools, is going to see that and think that's what you have to
well,
do.
and I get
And
that.
you don't,
I get
not at that level.
Yeah.
You're talking about whole different. These kids are getting paid,
Yeah.
and they should be able to take a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, anyway,
6
so-
teams in.
Wherever this ends up, there'll be one of those old time coaches somewhere in the mix, more than likely.
Yeah.
So-
Oh yeah.
Or an assistant, like from Duke, that he was an assistant to the
master.
to the Krzyzewski.
Well,
right?
yeah.
So that
Enough
lends
said.
some credence there.
And I've said it before. I'm from Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin athletics. In basketball, I'm a Duke guy.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I said it before.
Yeah.
The national championship game between Duke and Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Hardest game I ever had to watch in my life.
I bet.
I didn't know who to root for, and I guess when it was over, I felt more sad that Wisconsin didn't win one.
Yeah.
and that Duke did.
So did you just become
So-
a Duke fan because of they won all the time?
No, just from Krzyzewski.
Krzyzewski.
And watching him and listening to him when he had teams that were starting to get good but
Yeah.
weren't good yet. But I
Yeah.
saw it. I saw people talk about him, and
Yeah.
I liked what he did.
Apparently, behind closed doors, he could be quite the
Yeah, that's what
quite
I've
the
heard.
F-bomber.
I've heard too. But
So that,
but yeah,
that technique still
in front of the camera, they're very charismatic.
Oh my goodness!
They don't talk to
Well,
their kids like that.
And then
though.
they talk about the sideline charisma and
Uh-huh.
how all these coaches seem to really, just get fire under their belts when
Oh, yeah.
when it's time to play, and
Yeah.
they're walking that sideline, working the ref, working the kids. There's no time to sit down and just watch. They're working the whole time.
Yeah. So, and now I don't know if I drank the Kool-Aid because I like St. John's. I picked them to go a pretty decent way.
So did I. So
But I don't know how good they are. I've only seen
yeah,
them play
I
a
haven't
little
seen
bit.
them play, but they've been on a streak. They've been playing well. So speaking of streaks, and I didn't realize this because Connecticut, UConn went through a terrible stretch where they lost 2 or 3 or 4 in a row,
Yeah,
and
early.
well, it wasn't even that early. It was about 8 weeks ago or something. It was
Oh,
just
yeah.
a string of games where they just were not playing well. And then I saw they finished up with like a 10-game winning streak or something. That the last 10 games they won, so they become kind of an undercurrent favorite there with some of the talkers on the TV and radio, and maybe they'll just sort of sneak up on everybody again like they did last year. I don't know.
Yeah, they're a what, 9 seed? 8
Yeah,
seed?
I think that's right.
8 or 9.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I don't even know
who
where
knows?
they are.
And 3-peat would be interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, but all right. So let's go. Final 8.
All right, finally. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So the regional final,
Regional final. Round of 8, right?
Yes.
Or round of 8.
round of 8.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. All right, I got Auburn, Michigan State.
Okay, I do too.
I got Florida, St. John's.
I do too.
No kidding.
Wow, like mine, huh?
That's unbelievable.
Jeez.
All right, okay, you're gonna like this. I got Duke,
Okay.
but I got VCU. I bet you don't have VCU.
I don't. I have Alabama.
They're my soft spot. I watched them play 2 games.
Yeah.
They got 2 bigs that are really good.
Uh-huh.
And they've been mowing down people. Now, I know they come from a softer conference, but they've been winning by 20 and 30 points every game. So I'm very curious to see if they can get by BYU and
Then
then
obviously
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Although I have an upset there too. You're not gonna like that. You don't have to know about that.
No, that's all right. No,
So who do you have there?
I've got Duke and Alabama.
Duke and Alabama. Okay, that's a good pick. So that's what, number 2? Yeah, so you've got 1, 2 there. And then I got Houston, Tennessee.
I got Houston, Tennessee also.
So we're doing the same thing.
So yeah,
We're ending up
did
where
you copy me?
apparently.
I guess.
Well, you won the last pool you were in.
Well,
so
I did when
I figured
technically.
if I copy you, maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't by. I
might
didn't
work
do it
out.
on purpose. All right, so
All right, so
the
then-
next one. All right, you go.
Final
you go
four.
next.
Final 4. I got Auburn beat Michigan State.
Okay, I got the opposite.
Okay.
I got Michigan State. I don't know why it's that Izzo factor.
Yeah.
Plus, Auburn's lost a couple real close big games.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see if they get their swagger back though, because
I know.
I don't think they have. If I see them, the biggest problem is getting by Michigan, because they got those 2 bigs
Sure.
who are good.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Michigan's good this year.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but
They beat Maryland. They shouldn't have beat
Wisconsin, you don't like Michigan. You just
Maryland. No, it's just by the nature.
no.
That's what you do, right?
Yeah. So I got Florida over St. John's,
Got that? I'm in agreement.
and I've got sorry, Mike. Duke
Oh.
I've got
Losing.
Alabama beating Duke.
Oh my. Okay. Good. That's a good upset.
Do you have that?
No. I got Duke
Okay.
to go to the Final Four.
And then I've got Houston. I got Tennessee beating Houston.
I got Houston beating Tennessee.
Okay.
So we're not
we got a couple.
counting.
So we got
some opposites.
3 out of the 4 Final Fours opposite.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
That's exactly right. Florida's our only common one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got your okay.
So it's Michigan State, Florida. I have Florida to go to the championship game.
So do I.
And then I have Houston to go to the championship.
I have Alabama beating Tennessee.
So Alabama beating Tennessee. Okay.
And then the
So you
winner.
have Florida, Alabama in the final.
Yes,
That's who you have.
Yeah.
And so who's your winner?
Florida.
Me too.
And it's interesting because I saw on the ESPN app 58 people who do basketball broadcasting
Right.
and all that stuff,
Right.
contributors on shows and stuff. And they all picked their Final Four and then the winner.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of Floridas. There were a couple of Houstons.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Duke. A lot of people think Duke
Yeah.
is, again, talent-wise,
Oh,
yes.
they're a monster.
But I don't know, a lot's going to be dependent on how Flagg's ankle is,
Yeah.
if it can hold out,
True.
and
And
it's
he
just,
doesn't want to do anything really stupid either.
well, when they were talking about the people who will decide whether he plays or not,
Yeah.
obviously the medical staff,
His agents first.
his coach, yeah, exactly, that was the last guy I was going to get to.
He's
First of all,
first.
it's him, the medical staff, Shire,
Yeah.
his parents,
Yeah.
and then his agent. And I was like, what?
And I don't think it's the other
But
way.
yeah.
The agent goes,
Yeah,
son.
because there's so much money at stake for that kid.
goodness. He's,
You know?
Well, it's almost another Zion, although he doesn't have the. You remember how Zion Williamson came
Yeah.
out and he was the number
Yeah.
one pick by far.
Yeah.
But predictably, and I have to give the props to the people that were saying his body cannot survive the way he plays.
Yeah.
And look what happened. He's just been terrible with his ankles and knees and
Yeah.
things. And I don't think he's played 15% of his games in the pros yet.
Do you want to hear the funniest thing I ever heard about Zion Williamson? On the Inside the NBA, Charles Barkley
Yeah.
was talking about him.
Yeah.
They were just showing him like warming up and before pregame and stuff. And they cut to a picture of him, and Barkley said, "Yeah, that's what would happen if Shaq and I had a baby."
That's funny. I think I remember that. Shaq and I have a baby.
That
Oh,
was
my God.
hilarious. But
Those guys are the best.
they are. So
But anyway, my point is that you don't want to repeat the same potential, in terms of the worry of this wonderful talent
yeah.
who has got an injury that had the school spirit, wants to do it. I get that. But is it the right thing for him to do for his
Future.
future, and
Yeah.
plus the stability of his leg going forward, when they're going to be playing 80, 90 games, instead of 30, that's another
And you-
whole world.
But you don't know
stability.
how long, how bad he sprained it.
You know.
Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3.
We know.
Who knows?
No, we don't know.
Tear, anything
Right.
torn
Well,
in there.
Didn't they say it was a high ankle up above here?
Yeah,
Those are supposed
I
to be
don't
the
know.
ones.
The hardest.
Coming from somebody who sprained both these ankles
Yes.
about 7, 8 times when I was in high school.
All the time.
But mine were always low. But I ended up with permanent swelling
Yeah.
on both the outsides of my ankles because
Yeah.
of the scar tissues. Just
Right.
And then
And
not
if-
that I could jump and run and all that, but
He didn't
high
look like he
ankle
was
might
in
be
pain.
different.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was in pain when he was sitting on the bench, standing
Yeah.
up, getting down, standing
So
up.
he looked okay.
Yeah, I mean, it looked.
Well,
he
apparently
looked
he's
fine.
on go.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
He's ready to play.
So I would.
It might be minutes. He might just. And plus, they're playing a game that might get out to a 20, 30-point lead. And,
Yeah.
And then he doesn't have
Who they got,
to
Mount
worry
St.
about
Mary's?
Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, if they're-
I wouldn't start him. I'd let him get a little run in,
Yeah.
maybe in the first half, and then in the second half,
Yeah.
same thing. Get a little.
Because that Duke, man,
5-minute run.
that attack. The one thing I do know is they run.
Yeah.
They don't sit and wait.
No, they don't.
They get it up the floor and go.
They don't.
I saw a move by Flag where he was dribbling up the right side. He's got, what's he, 6'11" or something?
6'9",
6'9"?
something like that.
So I saw LeBron James' last game in high school.
Uh-huh.
They had it nationally televised on
I remember
ESPN.
that. Yeah.
And he just looked like a man among boys, literally. Like he was playing with sixth graders.
Yeah.
When he was playing with his peers in an age group. And then, of course, he goes to the NBA and dominates them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. Well, I watched this move, and it was a full-on crossover, full speed into the lane. We had a guy on his right, and he went to his left hand, and he picked it up left hand, and just grabbed it and dunked it left hand, just like in one motion. It was a crossover, jump, boom. I've seen that move or something like it when LeBron was younger.
Oh yeah,
Although LeBron's kind of coming up with some of these still. He did 40. Man, that guy could be the real deal.
He's also taken 5 steps to get.
Well, they all do now.
To the hoop,
Good Lord, take a lot of steps. But anyway, that's another expression.
But and you know, this is my take on Cooper
You're
Flag.
looking at hundreds of millions of dollars for this kid.
He doesn't do one thing like from what I've seen, he's not like a dead-on 3-point shooter. Like,
No, he just does.
He can shoot threes and make threes, you know.
Yeah.
He can get to the rim.
Yeah.
Shoots mid-range, but he just maybe it's because I see him pass the ball a lot that I don't like. You don't see him.
He reminds me a
over.
little bit of that
But he
hero,
does take
Tyler
over.
Hero.
Yeah, he was a better outside shooter. Though.
Yeah, definitely.
Also,
But you know, the one thing about these, what is he, 19 years old or 20 or 18?
Yeah.
I mean, think about how many more shots he's going to be able to take and practice and get good from the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only going to go up the ladder as far as his ability. So I don't know. It's awful risky to me for him to play if he's hurt. If he's not hurt, hey, let him play.
I agree.
Anybody can get hurt at any time.
That's true.
So.
All right, a question for you now. If you had the chance, would you rather go to the Super Bowl or the Final Four?
I think Final Four.
I think I would too.
It's more intimate. Depends on where you sit, but of course.
Yeah.
But even so, I mean, you're in an arena. I know they're bigger now, but I guess so. It really does matter where you would sit. Because I'm thinking that an arena is 19, 20,000 people. But
Good seats.
I think some of them they're in 60, 70,000 seat stadiums.
Yeah, they're in dome stadiums.
So maybe it's the same kind of experience.
They're playing in football stadiums.
Yeah, so maybe it just would really.
If you had good seats for both.
But I think just the energy level, because at the Super Bowl, it's more of a party, and it's more of the elite. Who's got it? You know, who's the richest? Who's the most famous? They're all showing up, and they don't care about the game. They don't give one hoot about it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go to a Final Four game and sit in the home seats of one of the two teams.
Yeah.
And just be part of that energy.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the fun part.
Yeah. The band playing. Yeah. You know. And
I got to experience it. I got to re-experience the similar thing when my sister came to visit and the Commanders were playing. See, I did it. I was a good boy. When the Commanders were playing and won that Detroit playoff game, we watched it together. And we had the hootin'est, hollering, crazy time because you're just so into your team.
Right.
And that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's just total abandonment of logic but it's just all excitement and desire to win. And
even if your
so
team,
much fun.
Even if your team isn't in it.
Yeah.
And when we say Final Four, I'm talking the two semifinal games. And
I'm not even talking about being in. I just want to be around the energy. And
even if your team is,
if you had a bonus where your team was in, if Maryland were in the final 2 games, that would be something. I haven't rooted for Maryland since I was 15 years old. Or I did when they won in 2002 or whenever they won.
Yeah.
I heard Gary Williams interviewed the other day. God, he's a great interview. That guy is so entertaining. But that was the last time I really. And I've been paying more attention to Maryland this year. Just because they are good, of course. I'm a bandwagon guy for some reason, some ways. But like Clint, man, he's all over Maryland all the time.
All the time.
And the reason I watch is he tells me when the games are on.
Yeah,
he follows them religiously.
He is, yes.
So I kind of get pulled into
some
it
good
from
takes
that.
on them
But
too.
I don't know. I don't have faith in them going. Let's see. Here's what I see about Maryland. I wouldn't be surprised if they got to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they lost the first game either.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any real knowing expectations of where it is and where they fall into this. And that's kind of, I guess, part of the fun, too, of the tournament, because there's just no predictability at all.
And
no predictability.
For me, it's like, I like the upset.
Yeah.
There's
so would you like Final Four, too, over Super Bowl?
Yes, I would. Yeah. Just want a Super Bowl. Like, I guess it'd be great. The tailgating and the game. It's the best game between the best teams usually. Yeah. You know, but there's something about kids playing basketball.
Yeah.
You know, and being able to go to all 3 games, the 2 semifinals and the final.
And particularly if it comes down, there's nothing like a buzzer beater or the last play. You know, it's just you're on the edge of your seat, just So great. Just love all of that.
Yeah.
And I know by the end of today, I'm sure there will be some buzzer beaters, and because
Yeah.
they always seem to happen
Yeah.
in some of the game, and it's exciting to see it. I mean, it happened the other night in the play-in game with Alabama State, right?
Yeah.
When they threw the ball the length of the court and did they call it the Hail Mary or whatever.
Yeah.
The ball bounced around and they threw it up
Yeah,
and it went in.
four or five guys were right there,
It's crazy.
and they all put their hands up, and it bounced. They tried to grab it, and
Yeah. It's
it got
unbelievable.
tipped backwards.
Oh, and
And,
see, there's another thing. I mean, just the heartbreak and the excitement. It's just
Yeah.
immediate, boom.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily get that in the football side.
Yeah,
You might, but it's more rare, I guess.
and in football, these guys have probably more of a chance to get to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
They may never,
Well, this is
Dan
true.
Marino.
Yeah, this is true.
but you
Yeah.
these kids in
This is it.
college,
Yeah.
usually they're gone. If they're good, they're gone the next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, and people, I wish I could be one of them. I might be one tomorrow afternoon because I don't have much going on, so I might be parked somewhere in front of the
There you go.
20 TVs, at a local
Yeah.
establishment, and
Yeah.
and
I-
watching as many games as I could
I tell you,
see at one time.
the most I got into it, I was working at paper packaging company.
Mhm.
They made boxes, like food boxes, spaghetti boxes, just stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they had these huge sheets of paper,
Okay.
huge, and it'd go through the rollers, and they would paint it. They would print on, and then they'd go and it would be cut, and then it's folded or what, So it was the whole process of how you make for spaghetti, a box of spaghetti noodles. Well, we used to make those.
Okay.
I took one of
Where
those.
we go with this?
I took one of those sheets home of paper
Okay.
because there was probably 5 foot by
Okay.
4 foot, like
Okay.
just huge.
Yeah.
And I made a bracket and I stuck that on my wall.
A big bracket.
And yes, and I had this huge, took up almost the whole side of the wall in my tiny apartment. That's the most I got. It was so
You were
cool.
a fanatic.
It was fun. Yeah, I was really into it back then.
Oh,
So,
gracious.
all right. So we both got Florida. We'll let you know how that turns out when
Yeah.
the tournament's over.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things left to talk about. How about you give us a little golf update?
Well, the golf season is rolling right along. A lot of really fun, exciting finishes in the PGA Tour level, and the latest one was Rory McIlroy is on a pretty good run so far this year,
Yeah.
and won the Players Championship on a Monday morning playoff with a relative unknown, J.J. Spawn, and Rory played great the final day to get into position where he was actually 3 ahead with 5 to go, and J.J. Spawn birdied 2 of the last 3, and Rory played the last 3 1 over. So they tied.
Yeah.
And Rory had to make a putt of about 4 feet on the last hole to get to that point, which was good that it went in, although it lipped in. Because, he missed that short putt at the U.S. Open to lose to Bryson DeChambeau last June.
Uh-huh.
And he's not lived it down yet. And this is a problem with being at the top. You have to hear about
Oh
it
yeah,
all the damn
all the time.
So mentally, he's already won another tournament, Pebble Beach, and then he won this one. And based on my fairly educated sense of what's to come, the Masters winner tends to come from the players that are trending the last couple of months in a good, positive way.
Right.
Because the Masters, the Augusta National, requires such precision that you better be golfing your ball perfectly,
Yeah.
and putting it out, the
Oh,
lights
yeah.
out. And if you're not, it's going to catch you. So last year, Scotty Scheffler had a real heater going through the springtime up to the Masters, won the Masters again. I see Rory, who's needing the Masters to complete what's called the full Grand Slam, so he's going to have won all 4 majors,
Once.
not in the
At least
same
once.
year,
Right.
but in one time, and he's a very elite group with Nicklaus and Player, and Palmer didn't even do it.
Tiger.
Tiger, I mean, it's a very small group.
He did the Tiger Slam.
Tiger
won
had all 4 trophies on
in
his
one- in
in
one
one
year,
time.
yeah.
So that's a whole other story. But I see Rory breaking through. Because when he was young, he was really playing well, and he won the U.S. Open, and he won PGAs. He came to the 10th hole with a 3-shot lead or something on the last day.
Yeah.
And that 10th hole is a dogleg left, real hard left down the hill. It's like a ski slope. And he hooked the ball so far left, nobody had ever seen the ball end up where it ended up. And he ended up making, I think, a triple bogey.
Ugh.
And it threw him off, and he backed up, and he didn't win. So he's been trying to live that down for over 10 years. That was 10 years ago. Rory, amazingly, has been on the tour 15 years.
Yeah.
He's 35 years old. He's been out there a long time, but at a very high level.
Of course.
He's won 30 tournaments, plus 10 or 15 on the European tour. You know, four majors. I think he's looking for his 5th. So I'm excited because I'm a Rory fan. I think Rory's top drawer,
Yeah.
classy dude.
Yeah.
And he's back with his wife and his kid. They seem all happy. So I think all of his elements are pretty good. Conversely, I think Scotty's, he punctured his hand in a freak accident. He doesn't seem the same this year. He's kind of off. I don't know if it has anything to do with that.
Well,
They'll say
didn't you-
no, but
We talked about this, I think, before. Didn't you say how important
oh my goodness!
that,
I think
like
all
a
the
cut
field
there?
that I think, and
That,
it's
you know?
going to be remain to be seen. But he's missing shots he didn't miss last year,
Right, and that
and
you
he's
think that's 'cause of
showing
the
signs of like what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Man, when you puncture something in the piece of you that is
In
the
that-
most important
yeah.
part of your whole process,
The hands.
it's going to be
Yeah.
Now, he might come back and win the Masters for a 3rd time in a row.
Right.
And he might go on to win, 8 more times. But it wouldn't surprise me if he struggled. He seems frustrated. He doesn't seem the same kind of Scott. I mean, he still finishes in the top 15 or 10.
Yeah.
Even when he's playing poorly, he still has mojo. He still hits great shots and all
Right.
that. But the level of precision to do what he was doing, it was almost flawless golf, which is virtually impossible. Tiger spoiled us for 10 years with virtually flawless golf.
Yeah.
He did everything well. Now, it didn't mean he didn't make mistakes, but he was always able to make it up and just played so much better than everybody else collectively over a 4-day period. And that's what Scotty did last year so well. So we'll see. But I'm excited for the Masters. I really am. This is going to be a very interesting tournament this year.
And just real quick, that indoor golf league.
TGL, yeah.
It's
It's
that's the Tiger Golf League.
Tiger, yeah,
Wow.
essentially. The golf
Is it?
league.
Is
or
it
whatever.
that? Oh,
Oh, I'm sure it's got a lot
sure
of.
he had something to do with that.
Oh, he has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
He
What
and
do
Rory
you think about
started
it?
it up.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm interested in it in that I get to learn more about the players that are on it.
Yeah.
It's how they pick the players. I guess it's kind of an old boys network sort of.
Sure.
Company. It was Tiger and Rory picking the players, I guess, for
Yeah.
the teams. Phenomenally, they're heavily backed with heavy big money.
Yeah.
You see some of the people that are investors in the teams. Man, they're putting it out there. Serena Williams is part of the Los
wow.
Angeles or the Florida team, I think. I don't know. It's kind of middle of the road as far as acceptance. There's some that really kind of dig it, and there's others
Yeah.
that can't stand it.
Is it good
So-
golf or good TV?
Well, it's both.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to watch an amateur player play golf into the screens that they're playing and
Yeah.
see that like that.
Yeah.
But like these influencers that make these videos and that get everybody watching on YouTube, and they're not pros,
Right.
but they have a gimmick. They have something that makes it interesting to watch what they're doing on the golf course.
Right.
I don't watch the stuff, so I'm not really one to be saying anything about it, good or bad. Like Bryson DeChambeau created this thing. Let's try to break 50 from the front tees of every golf course.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
To him and another player.
Yeah.
So you got Sergio Garcia, who's a great player, and they shot 50 the first time he did it. And so he ended up with President Trump prior to him being president, or re-president, again. But they shot 51, I think, at one of Trump's courses, and they
Yeah.
film it, and I found it highly entertaining.
Yeah.
So I think this particular format that they've come up with needs some tweaking because it's a little slow.
Yeah.
They do have a time clock. They hit it into this screen. The players react. They're so dialed into what the ball does
Yeah.
in reality that to simulate it, I don't care if it's plus or minus .0001, that's noticeable.
Yeah.
And I see Tiger hit a shot and he goes, I can't go 15 yards past where I was trying to hit it. I just can't.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a bit of what they got to work out as far as whether it is real golf or whether it's just made for TV kind of fun.
Yeah.
But Tiger also had one of the funniest moments in a mental lapse when he thought he was going to hit a 99-yard shot, because on the tour, the caddy doesn't say you got 199 because you look at the distance, you know it's 200 yards.
Yeah.
So he says, well, you need the 99 club, so they give him the 99 club. Well, he thought it was 99 yards, and he hit the shot, and he came up 100 yards short. So that was one of the more entertaining. So that was probably from a an amateur perspective, they enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
Just the pure golf of it, it gets fun. Most fun I have watching is when it's competitive.
Yeah.
A lot of the matches aren't competitive. It just seems one team gets ahead, and they have this thing called the hammer, and they throw it down.
Yeah, I heard that.
Have, basically it's just doubling down on whether you win or lose the hole, and points, and it's all about the points and so on. So I think it could be at least 30 minutes shorter. I think instead of playing 15 holes, they should play 9. I think if they could mix in some sort of, like video game-ish type contest in the middle of it, where, there's balloon, there's the Goodyear blimp flying up in the sky, and the first one to hit it, or how many can you hit in a 3 balls or something like that. And they just stand there, and I think that would be entertaining.
Sure.
Seeing the pros trying to hit a moving target with a golf ball, that might be interesting. But it's all kind of what our audience you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
And these players have made it a major commitment. But I see why they made a major commitment, because they're in the, quote, playoffs now.
Yeah.
And I saw the payouts.
Oh, yeah?
First place, it's $9 or $12 million among 4 players. It's like $3 million
apiece
per person for 4 nights of flying to Orlando and participating, or wherever they are. I guess it's Palm Beach Gardens. But I guess, I'm kind of the middle of the road guy, and I liked a lot of it, and it's on Monday night when there's nothing else on, usually.
Yeah.
So I watch when I could.
I've tuned it in a couple of times. I'm just.
So what did you think of it as a not professional person in the game?
Well, it's just like any simulator.
Yes.
You walk up and you hit the ball into the screen,
Right.
and then it shows where it's going, and then the next thing I saw, they're walking somewhere.
Well, what that part of it I thought was fascinating, in that they were able to build a moving green.
That's the part.
That's the cool part.
And then they're like 30 steps, and then they're on the green.
That's correct.
It's so weird to think that.
And they can make the green in different angles and shapes.
Yeah.
And create really tough pin positions, and none of those holes were real holes. They were all made up for specific that particular
that machine can
machine. Oh, it could do anything.
Yeah.
That was another criticism, but maybe suggestion was, put a Pebble Beach hole on there for them to play, or put a really well-known hole.
Yeah.
And that might be fun, because most of these simulators, that's what they focus on, is having those courses in their repertoire, so you can play a
amateurs can say, look, I played.
That's right. I played Pebble Beach or played wherever. So from that piece, but that mechanism for the around the green shots, I thought that was really, really well done. I mean, in an engineering marvel, to be honest.
And I just thought there were a lot of people kind of standing around watching.
Well, that's the thing, is that golf is never an action thing, and so when the camera's focused on we're used to the camera being camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4.
Yeah. You're
seeing a guy hit, you're seeing a guy putt, you're seeing a guy sand shot.
Yeah.
You don't see the guy walking.
Right.
That's why playoffs are no fun for the networks.
Yeah.
Because they actually watch the players walk to the ball.
Because they're
and
not
by then, it's snooze city.
Commercial after every shot.
So they don't like that. But with the golf, there's 18 holes, usually or at least 6 holes until the very final hole, where there's always something going on that you can cut to.
Yeah.
This, unless you had one group hitting into the net and the other group, or into the simulator, and the other group putting at the same time, where you're kind of going back and forth and back and forth. But that would be a different game, because the one player that hit wouldn't be hitting the next shot.
Right.
And they do rotate in the first piece of it. So I think they got some work to do.
Yeah.
And they'll probably do a bunch of marketing and a bunch of questionnaires to folks. And,
but it'll probably
but apparently, when you're there in that arena, it's like going to a hockey game.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
The sound is really loud,
Uh-huh.
and the place is awe-inspiring. So when you're there, and I'm just listening to the guys that do the PGA Tour radio, because they talk about it, they say, man, being there is just a different
Yeah.
experience.
Oh, I'm sure.
And but
Music
they
and
can't
lights
they can't hear the players who are mic'd up
Uh-huh.
because it's too loud. So the audience doesn't get a sense of what Tiger's saying
Yeah, that would be a little
and why
bit
they're
interesting.
laughing.
Yeah.
Or that. You know, so they're coming
Yeah.
up. Maybe they wear headphones if you want to hear what they're talking about. That
Yeah.
sort of thing. So it's a great idea in the sense that they're trying to hit the target market of the non-player
And also, I think younger.
and younger group.
Trying to say, look, this
Trying to
could
do
be
it for the
exciting.
younger group. Yeah.
All right. All right. Any NFL tidbits? We'll wrap it. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
we'll wrap
always
up on that.
NFL.
There's so much NFL. Well, there's been so
Yeah.
much movement and some surprises. Minnesota is without a quarterback.
Well, no.
Well, without anybody that's played quarterback yet
Yet,
in the
yeah.
NFL. So technically, they've got their draft choice, who's a rookie,
J.J. McCarthy.
and there's no mentor or anybody in place at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. So that I found interesting because they let Daniel Jones, go to Indianapolis.
Yeah, they have no
and
second
so
team
they
quarterback.
Boom, he's gone, and then Darno went to
Seattle.
Seattle, that's right. So there's been a lot of movement with these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then T. Higgins and Chase
Sign.
signed for the money they're making.
Oh, I know. And
They don't have
that's
anything
not
left. There's going to be high school kids playing
Right.
on the line
For lunch
Burrow better get like Tasmanian devil moves to get out of the way because
Yeah.
he's going to get pummeled. They've done nothing to help their offensive line, but how could they if they're paying all these hundreds of
Other
millions
guys,
of dollars?
yeah, the three guys.
You
have
got
a lot
the
of
three
money.
best skilled players, three of the best, if not two, whatever, top in their position currently. Great, but they ain't got no time. You can't do it. Look at what happened to Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He didn't have time, so he was.
You
he
need
was,
a line.
He was pedestrian. So we'll see how that goes.
And then,
But the odyssey of it all, of course, is whether Rodgers is going to play or not. Or,
Right.
And they've reached out to him. He hasn't gotten back. Apparently, I was kind of bored with it all, to be honest. My gut feel when he walked off the field, it was the end.
yeah,
This for the Jets.
if he hasn't signed yet, maybe he's hoping like a good team. The
Well, maybe
quarterback
he's
goes
holding
down.
out for a team like mid-season that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is in playoff mode
Yeah.
and needs a rescue,
Yeah,
like
or-
Flacco did with Cleveland.
Yeah, or you know who's the guy in L.A. The quarterback.
Stafford,
He goes down with
Right.
an injury.
That's right.
Then maybe he'll
which is he's
come in.
he's getting there.
You
He's
know.
getting to that point where
Yeah.
that's a very likely.
Him and
situation.
Russell Wilson without a team yet, and that's
Does Russell get asked back to Pittsburgh?
yeah. I don't know.
The Pittsburgh don't have anybody yet, do
Mason Rudolph.
they? They got Mason Rudolph back?
Yes,
Come on, I didn't even know that.
he's their guy. So
Oh, my Lord.
it's
Well,
weird, but you know the
so
draft
crazy.
is coming up soon, and I'm
Draft
sure.
coming up soon, and
Hopefully-
of course the Giants are in great need of help there at the quarterback.
And everybody said I heard that Rodgers really liked living in New York.
Yeah, wouldn't that be funny?
If he
Just
just-
go over to the other side of the
It's across
building,
the street.
or across the street.
Yeah. Oh no, it is the other
I
side.
think
of
it's the same building.
It is. You're right. It is.
Just
go-
hey
yeah.
guys, how you doing?
Yeah. Oh, this is what the other
But,
locker room looks
but
like.
Adams, Devontae went to
L.A.
L.A.
Yeah. So.
So that connection didn't last very long. They're forever bond and got to play together.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
on.
They
It'll
have
be interesting to see what happens with the Jets because you got
Fields.
Fields is now up there. So
Yeah.
you talk about a completely different offense.
Sure.
It's going to be run based.
Yeah.
And him just bootlegging or run pass option and
Yeah.
all that. so curious.
Yeah.
These teams are. But anything like I think Washington sparked a lot of teams to think that hey, this is possible if you
Yeah.
get the right
Get the
combination.
right guy.
But it's a combination with the guys fitting all together in the
Right.
scheme and executing the plays, and we're going to see going forward how number 5, my man 5, is he going to have a sophomore slump or is he going to continue?
Right.
And they got Debo Samuel coming in, could be a great fit if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
So there's the man who wins all the money.
Yeah.
But he won't give me any of his picks.
Ah.
Anyway,
Right.
so I just can't believe we still have 9 months to go
Yeah.
before there's football.
Yeah, but
Not even, right? July is when it all starts.
well,
up,
the
right?
practices.
I mean,
and
the
stuff,
practice,
yeah.
but it's
And
12
then
months. We
the
talk about
draft.
it for
The
12
draft
months.
is next month.
Yeah,
So
that'll be a little bit
hopefully we'll get
interesting.
together and have a chance to talk about that.
Yeah.
The end of the basketball tournament, the Masters.
It's a big
all
time
that
of
stuff
year.
to look forward
Big
to.
time. And my Capitals kicking
Oh.
butt right now
Yeah?
in hockey.
Yeah,
And Ovechkin's only 7 goals away, I think.
that what it
8
is
goals
now?
away, yeah.
And I remember when people thought that record might
Unbreakable.
not be broke.
Well, you know what he's doing? They're so good this year, they're getting a lot of two-goal leads going into the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So the goalie's
The
coming
goalie.
out. And man, they're feeding him
yeah.
every chance they
Oh,
get.
those
So
are
they're
good
just
teammates.
going, here you go.
Yeah.
And he made one backhanded off the side not too long ago and it went right in the middle of the net. I went, wow, that's a pretty good shot. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think he was trying to make it, but he threw it down there just in the hopes
Yeah.
of it. So he's kind of
And-
peeling away at it, but he's made some other really phenomenally good goals. And the other part of it is he's not staying at home. A lot of these announcers like he just stays in one place. And
Yeah.
He's one strict pony. Man, that team has got some good young players.
Yeah.
And they're first in the division. It's
Yeah.
like almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
So I'm now watching a lot of hockey. So all this is going on. I mean, there's not a night where
No.
something didn't happen.
Especially right now.
This time
Good
of
time
the
of the
year.
year.
So it's fun.
All
I got
right.
too much to talk about.
Too much. That's going to do it for us today.
Whew, I'm
Hopefully
tired.
we'll be back soon. If you watch this and you want to discuss anything, send me an email, ghicks@somersetmd.us. We'll put your thoughts on air, or maybe you can even come down and watch. You can come down and sit in with us. We need more
Steve.
people to talk to. So,
We need Steve next time.
that's right.
Let's take a vote. We want Steve.
Yeah.
All the yays. Okay, you have to do it. You've been voted in.
Steve's got laryngitis.
He's got laryngitis. See, he's already got personality.
Yes. All right. Well, until
All right.
next time.
That's good.
I'm Gary.
I'm Jack.
You guys take care and get out there, play
Get
some
out there.
sports.
Time's coming.